If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Elite Publishing Podcast. Today, we have a special treat for you going on. I'm Melanie Johnson. I'm one of the founders and owners of Elite Online Publishing, and I'm here with one of my best friends and co-owner of Elite Online Publishing is Jen Foster. Hi, Jen.
Hey, everyone. How are you doing today?
Well, I hope you're in the mood to learn a lot about publishing and book writing and ghostwriting. We have such a special treat today. Anita Henderson is in the house. And if you don't know who Anita Henderson is, well, you're missing out because she is known as the author's midwife. Okay. She is the CEO and founder of the Write Image Consulting Firm and the creator of the Write Your Life author coaching program. Let me tell you, she is a best-selling, award-winning author. She's a ghostwriter, a copywriter, a book publishing strategist. She knows how to do book awards. She knows how to do beta readers. She is a wealth of information. So if you want to know anything about writing a book today, you are in the right place. But on top of this, we are celebrating that she has just come out with a new book. And we published it for her, so we're even more proud of it. It's called Becoming the Minimalist Entrepreneur: Lessons from My Journey to Work Less, Earn More, and Play More. Don't we all want to do that? I want to work less and play more. Yes, I've been feeling that a lot lately because spring is in the air, and I think we all just want to be puppy dogs and roll in the grass. So Anita, you're going to tell us a little bit how to do that too, as we dive into tips on publishing and all of that.
Great. Good to be here, ladies. I love this.
Well, tell us, Anita, a little bit about yourself and your background and how you got into writing.
Oh, I've been a writer all my life, believe it or not. As a kid, I wrote poems on a Saturday morning when, I was stuck inside because it was rainy and windy outside. But my career, for sure, carried over that love of writing. I was a journalism major in college, and that morphed into a career in marketing communications. And then that kind of bled into my business over 25 years ago, where I started the Write Image as a marketing and communications consultant. That transformed into book publishing. And for over a decade now, I have been an author coach and a book publishing strategist for corporate executives and seasoned entrepreneurs to help them leverage the power of book publishing as a marketing strategy for their brand.
You do such an excellent job. We have worked with so many different editors and ghostwriters and book coaches. And until you really dive in and work with them, you're not sure of the quality of their work. And we have just said, unless we've tried someone ourselves, we're not going to recommend somebody. And I just have to tell this quick story that you and I were doing a VIP day, which we can explain later on in this podcast, VIP book creation day, where we do all these marvelous things to help an author create their book. And Jen and I were diving in and experimenting with another ghostwriting company just to see, how do they work? So we have, some more people depth in our company. And when we got back what they gave us and what we do for our clients, it was like going to Walmart, and us was like going to Neiman Marcus concierge service level, okay, of what you got, where they served you champagne and you had you felt like you were a queen versus no one helped you and you just got something thrown at you. So really a big difference. And tell us, how do you work with your clients? Because we want to dive into your book, but tell us why it's important and what they should look for when they're working with an editor, book coach, and ghostwriter.
Well, it's a process. It's a process that we have honed and refined over years, as I said, over a decade of working with professionals to get it right. That we don't just jump in and say, yeah, you can write a book in a weekend. We don't do that. I know there are programs for that. Ours is not one. We work with, it's very personalized, and we work with the author. I'm an author coach, not a book coach. I coach the author not the book. Although we do provide some publishing strategy insights. And of course, as a strategic partner with Elite Online Publishing, we have the power of your incredible team backing us up on that side. But when people come to us, they typically just have an idea. They've got an idea. They've been thinking about writing a book for probably years, and they just need to get it out. They know they want to use their book as leverage for their business or their brand. And so we bring the consulting and the coaching to support them in that. Why are you writing the book? Who are you writing it for? What should your readers get from the book? And what should you get out of it? Like, what's your purpose? What's their purpose? All of that. And we look at the words primarily, first and foremost. We're most concerned with what your content looks like. What are you teaching? What concepts are you teaching? And then, of course, what stories are you sharing to support those amazing concepts? And then finally, we are looking at strategy. What's your publishing strategy and what's your marketing strategy? So we support our clients through the structure, the story, and the strategy of their book publishing journey.
I love that. I love that you take it from like just an idea to a full book. And the VIP day, I mean, just getting all of that content out and understanding all those things you just talked about, like a lot of people don't even know those things in their business. So it's great to go through
Really?
it for a book, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, VIP day is the start of everything. VIP day is the beginning of it all. But then we go through the entire journey of content creation, developing a really good manuscript, helping them share that manuscript with test readers. Melanie mentioned it, beta readers, to get their feedback and really to improve the manuscript for your ideal reader. And then also through editing, we have an extremely extensive editing process, 3-part editing process to make sure that the words are right. We don't want to bait and switch. We don't want people to buy your book, open it, and then realize, geez, they didn't even invest in editing. Like, we value the knowledge and the intellect of readers. We respect that. And we know that avid readers can tell when a book hasn't been edited, and that's extremely frustrating to them. So we want to make sure that we give our all on the editing side. So then when our experts at Elite Online Publishing get it for publishing, that it truly is an elite manuscript.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the beta reader program, because I think a lot of times people will publish a book without anyone reading it except for maybe themselves or maybe them and their mom, right? So
right, or their spouse or their whatever,
yeah,
right?
their spouse. So tell us about the beta reader program and why it's so important.
Oh, beta readers is a hugely important and extremely valuable part of the content development, the manuscript building process. So beta readers or test readers are people that the author actually identifies, and we give them some criteria for finding the right beta readers, the right number of beta readers, and then how to utilize those readers to really critique the manuscript so that they're giving feedback that is constructive and useful. And again, that helps to improve the manuscript for the ideal readers. We're asking them specific questions. We package that manuscript in a way that makes it easy for test readers to review it and make their comments. That those packages, right, the manuscript goes back to the author and they make changes based on what those suggestions are. And we give them guidance for whether or how to incorporate the changes from their test readers. So it's super duper valuable. Probably 90% of our clients say, man, that was great. Like, that was the best thing. I wish we would have done it sooner. And I kind of chuckle under my breath and say, it wasn't supposed to be done sooner. We have to get to a specific point in the manuscript development process before we take it to beta reader. So it happens at the right time. We give it the right amount of time, and we make sure that we get that manuscript to the right people and utilize their feedback in the right way.
So let's dive into doing your own book, which, it's like, they say like the cobbler's son has the worst shoes. So as we know, sometimes we are always on the back burner. So tell us how you decided to write about becoming a minimalist entrepreneur versus, what it takes to write a book, which is your expertise of a business. So you kind of did a spin on being an entrepreneur and your journey. And what were the challenges that you had? Because you had a day job, even though it was exactly what you do for other people. What were the challenges that you had, and how did you overcome them in getting your book written?
Well, I wanted to write Becoming the Minimalist Entrepreneur. It is a memoir. It is not a how-to book. I always make sure I want to tell people that I am the last person you want to teach you how to be an entrepreneur. I've made so many mistakes over my 27 years in business. And I wasn't writing this book to share the mistakes. I was writing this book to share the lessons that I've learned. I started out in business like a lot of people, out of frustration with a job I had and just really desiring more from life, wanting to experience a freedom of just enjoying life. Like we weren't born to just grow up and work and then die. There's life to be experienced, and I wanted more of that, and I wasn't getting it as an employee. And so I decided to start my company. And through the years of being, CEO of my own business, I had some experiences that I learned a lot. I went back to corporate a couple of times, and I know I've talked to many entrepreneurs who've done the same thing and dealing with all of the emotions coupled with that. But then I've evolved so much as a human and certainly as an entrepreneur to be able to be at this point where I am right now as CEO of my own company with a phenomenal team and some great partners like you at Elite, and being able to truly live my best life. I've been through the gamut of trying all the things, all the marketing things, all the business development things that the gurus say that you should try. I've tried and failed and succeeded so many times, I lost count, but I learned a lot through all of it. And it's made me a better person and a better entrepreneur. And I've learned from that minimalist entrepreneur aspect that less can be more. Less can be more when it comes to business. You don't have to 10x everything. You don't have to do all the marketing things, certainly not at one time. You don't have to have a bunch of people in your inner circle in order to succeed. You don't have to try to have all the business because you can't handle it anyway. You want to be the best for the people you've identified as your ideal clients, and you want to give them the best and the most. And for me in my journey, that meant I needed to develop some processes and approach, really hone in on who I'm working for, who my ideal client is, and specifically what I do for them. I can't do everything. Can't do everything. And then identify a support team that can come alongside me and add some value, do some of the things that either I don't do well or I don't enjoy doing, or just freeing up my time so that I can actually enjoy my business and enjoy my life. So that's what Becoming the Minimalist Entrepreneur is all about. It's lessons from my journey to work less, earn more, and play more.
Yeah, let's talk about the play more. So, how do you incorporate that? Because I know as an entrepreneur, sometimes I myself will get into the, okay, I just got to do this. And it's like, 8 o'clock at night and I'm still working. So, how do you do it? How do you set your boundaries for yourself and play more?
It's taken time. It's taken all this time for me to realize that it's up to me. I'm a very structured person, but I do like to have some flexibility in my life and my day. And so, what works for me is to have set working hours, and they fluctuate throughout the year. So, I'm a nature girl. I call myself a nature girl. So, I adjust my availability, right? So, for my calendar, my automated calendar where people can set an appointment with me, I change my schedule with the weather. So in the I like to exercise outside. I'm a walker. I like to do things outside. And so when it's cold outside, that's like in the mornings, right? The cold weather months in the mornings when it's super duper cold. I'm not outside walking. I walk in the afternoon. I make myself available in the mornings, right? I do my work in the mornings, crank out all that work, do my coaching calls and my book strategy sessions and all of that, so that when it's a little warmer in the afternoon, I can go for a walk. This time of year, springtime, it's warmer in the morning. So I block my calendar off so people cannot make appointments with me in the morning because I'm out walking. I do my work in the afternoon instead. So I know that I get to control my own schedule. It's up to me when I start working. and it's up to me when I stop working. And so I've come to realize that working more hours does not make me more efficient. It does not make me more productive. Focus makes me more productive, right? Taking occasional breaks throughout the day makes me more productive. I even structure my calendar and my days so that I have a couple of days a week where I'm just unavailable for calls so that I can actually get some work done. I typically block off a week off of my calendar so I can actually get some work done or travel, and we can talk a little bit about that. And then I typically block off the last 2 months of the year so I can review the year and then plan for the coming year. So I get to choose how I work, when I work, with whom I work. And I also get to decide what I do with my free time. And travel is one of my loves. And that's mostly what I do with my free time. I absolutely love to travel. And the freedom that is afforded to me as an entrepreneur gives me the opportunity to travel.
Right. So, what were some of your challenges in actually getting the book written and taking that time? We talked about that you blocked time off. I know you did like a week. What did you do to get the book done to make sure you got it written, and advice for other authors of what they can do to get their book written?
Well, I will tell you that I probably went through a lot of the same struggles that my clients do, and that and even some of your clients do. It's hard, right? It's kind of hard to get the words out, and especially a memoir because it's very personal. You have to be extremely vulnerable to share your own story with people. Now, I didn't tell all the gory details, but I told some very difficult things. And there was even a part in the book where I was writing about the death of my dad and some other really difficult things that happened in the span of a few months. And I knew I had to write that chapter and get it done. So I spent a whole day in my office writing and crying because it was that emotionally difficult. And I knew I had to get it done in a day because I was like, I cannot go through this again. So I very much had to focus, block out all distractions, as I suggest to people, but I got it done. It probably took me over a year to get through my manuscript, to actually write it. Couple of reasons. Now, just, a caveat, it should not take you that long to write your book. It took me that long because I had to put my book project on hold to work with other authors, my clients, your clients, to get their book. My thing had to be secondary, right? To get their books done. But also I had a bit of a speed bump during the time that I was doing my book writing. And that is that my mother had a stroke. And so I became a full-time caregiver for her. She has since recovered. She's doing quite well, but I truly had to put the brakes on my book project. Life events happen. I tell people that all the time, but it should not discourage you. And it certainly shouldn't stop your forward motion with getting your book published. When you make the commitment, you may have to halt for a time, just pause for a time, handle your personal life, but get back to the book. And so I had to do that too. I also worked with an author coach myself. We escaped to the beach for about 3 days. We coached each other because she was working on a book as well. And that was kind of the momentum I needed to get the book going and get it finished. So I went through a lot of process and a lot of things that some other authors go through, but I did it, and I'm really proud of myself for it.
That's great. What surprised you the most working with getting your book published? Like, what surprised you the most that you knew probably already because you've helped other authors get their books published, but what surprised you the most with it being your book?
I think probably what surprised me the most is how long it took me. Honestly. Again, I did just put my book on the back burner as I was supporting my clients through their process. So it took longer than I anticipated because I know it doesn't take that long to write a book. But once the manuscript was done, I went through the beta reader process. I chose some phenomenal beta readers that gave me excellent feedback. And of course, once we press go with Elite, that was super quick and always fun. And it was great after that.
What about I saw that you had some media attention, you had some interviews. What has been the result of your book, of some of the attention that you've gotten because of it?
I will tell you that probably, well, the media stuff is fun. As an introvert, I'd rather be in the corner somewhere reading a book than out in the front talking about my book. But I do love to have, some interviews and stuff going on. What has been very interesting is the social media response to the book. And the sales, of course, have done well. One of the measurable results came about 2 weeks after my book debuted. I was contacted by someone on LinkedIn who had seen my posts, popped in on my subscriber list, got the emails, bought the book. This person contacted me and said, I just finished reading your book and I want you to help me write mine.
Mhm.
That's the kind of results you want. So that was amazing. Turned out that the package that this person signed up for became 5x the amount I invested in my own book project.
That's
So
wonderful.
And that's
I
just
say
one
that
client, right?
that's just
Just one.
one client 2 weeks after my book launched.
And think of what the lifetime value of that clients they may bring you, or other books they might do.
Don't we say it all the time? This is the stuff that you can measure, right? This
Mhm.
is the dollars. And I'm like, it's real. It's absolutely real. It absolutely works. So you
Mhm.
have to put the quality and the time into it, make the commitment, work with experts like us who know what we're doing and understand
Mhm.
what a good book should read like, what a good book should look like, and understand some marketing strategies and tactics that work.
Mhm.
And I mean, the results will come. They will absolutely come. So, to Jen's question, a surprise, that kind of surprised me how quickly it happened. 2 weeks, literally. This person said, I read your book. I want to work with you. You've got to help me write my book. And I was like, absolutely. Right. And this is referred to my book many times during our coaching sessions. Well, just like you said in your book. Well, I remember when you said, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So those are some of the results that I absolutely love. We've gotten some good reviews on Amazon and elsewhere. People sharing the book, talking a lot about it. Yes, the media attention. Thank you for having me on this podcast. We've got some other podcast interviews scheduled, upcoming, and it's been great. It's been great. It has helped me. Writing this book has helped me remain relevant as an author coach for sure. It's been probably maybe 8 years since my last book was published. So this book is my eighth published book, but my first full memoir. The other books were about how to write a book, how to publish a book, why you need to write a book, those kinds of things. So this is my first memoir, and it's been just fantastic. I love the response that it has received.
And I like that you say it talks about, remaining relevant. That is so important. I tell authors, like, if you want a reason to write your book, like, well, why should I write a book? To remain relevant, to be relevant. It
Yeah.
puts you at the forefront again of media attention. And I said, if you look at interviews of celebrities, if you watch any of those shows or clips of those shows, most of them are on nowadays. It's either a movie or a book that they're promoting.
Yeah.
That's really it. Maybe a product, but most of them, I would say 50-50 or 40-40, it's movie or a book that they're talking
Mhm.
to remain relevant.
It is. It is. So we think that it's great, that so and so celebrity or politician or athlete has written a book. Sometimes we roll our eyes, we're like, not another one, right? As the
Yeah.
general public. But then we go buy the book and read it and love it. So, as you said, Melanie, there's a reason for that. One, they're leaving a legacy, they're putting their footprint in the sand to say, this is my story and I'm telling it my way, right?
Yeah.
I'm not waiting for someone else to write my biography after I'm
Mhm.
gone, right? I want to tell my story my way and I want to tell it right now. So they understand the value of that. They understand that staying relevant requires for you to produce something new
Mhm.
continuously, right? So yes, the movie star is going to have a new movie out, but that's going to come and go in the
Mm.
theaters. That book's going to remain. Yeah, that somebody can get the movie later, but their book is telling their story, right?
And
They're
it gets
not
them to like them, right? Then I know the actor. Oh, I didn't know that they did this and they overcame that and their
right.
story. Now I feel really connected to them. Their next movie comes out. I want to see it.
Exactly.
I feel like I know them. There was a little kid's video I saw, I don't know, on Instagram or TikTok. And he said, Mom, can we go see Beyonce? The child was like maybe 3 years old. Well, I don't know Beyonce. Well, I know Beyonce. Can't we go visit her? Because he felt like, he'd seen her. You're
Wow.
seeing,
Yeah.
I want to see her. I feel like I know her. And I think a book does that for an author. Talk just briefly about how do we structure a book and decide? I talked with an author yesterday. He's like, oh my gosh, I've got so many ideas. I don't know if I should do fiction or nonfiction. Where do you go from there? How do you take it from this broad spectrum? And you're such a master at this, to tying it in. Let's get it down and let's figure out who you're writing the book for and what the book should be about, and
Yeah.
start to get those chapters.
Yeah. Well, it's that. It's figuring out what's the business case for your book. For me, though, for the clients that I work with, they are writing the book for a business purpose. And so we figure out, what are you teaching? What are you explaining? How do you want to help people? In what ways, right? Does that play into your this marketing strategy that you're utilizing? And so we do kind of figure out, are we writing a memoir here? Is it your story about your life? Are you writing an instructional book? You actually teaching people how to do something? Are
Mm-hmm.
you exploring a particular subject matter? Right? You are an expert in leadership, so you may want to talk about leadership issues or team building or whatever. So, and then some books are an overlap. Maybe it's a memoir about your expertise in leadership, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
figure out where all of those points meet, right? The business case and what's the genre, and what are you teaching and that kind of thing. Who are you helping? And then we develop a structure. It's all about structure, because everybody comes with all the cobwebs in their head. They know all these things. And
Mm-hmm.
what I tell people is, no one wants to know everything you know.
Yeah.
And I say it in love. We don't want to know everything you know. You're smart. We respect that. But let's narrow it down to what needs to be in this book. And guess what? You might have another book that you can tell some of those other things in. But for this
Mm-hmm.
book, we want everything to be focused and relevant and helpful to a specific reader. So for me, as I mentioned, I've written many other books about publishing and writing and marketing a book. I wanted to write about my specific journey as an entrepreneur. I wanted to focus on people who are in their business maybe 5 to 8 years. And they're at that point where it's like, if I just knew this, I could get over this hump. Or if I don't figure out one more thing, I'm going to quit and go back and get a corporate job. Well, I want to help you with that, because I did that. And I want you to see that even if you do go back to corporate, there's still hope for you as an entrepreneur. So those are the people I wanted to focus on. I wanted to focus on the entrepreneur who says, I want to live more. I want to do my business. I want it to be fun. I also want to make some money with my business. And I have to figure out how to do that. How do I do both? How do I make my business fun? How do I make some money? And how do I keep doing it so that I enjoy it? And that's what I wanted to share. I've been through the roller coaster. I've tried all the things. I've, done all the stuff. And here's what's worked for me. Try this.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Well, tell us where people can go to get your book, Becoming the Minimalist Entrepreneur, and where they can get more information about you.
Absolutely. So you can get some information about the book at minimalist.writeyourlife.net. Go there and you can get a free download, the 3 tenets of the minimalist entrepreneur. So see how you match up with those 3 tenets. And then if you are interested in working with me as an author coach, you can go to writeyourlife.net. Of course, working with Elite Online Publishing, the book is available on Amazon and other retailers, so you can grab it there. And I hope you do. You're going to love it. Trust me. And I just love working with you ladies. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and we love working with you as well, Anita. Thanks for coming today. I hope you got a lot out of this, and check her website out. And again, you can contact and work with Anita through us. We handle all the publishing and marketing, as well as working with the VIP Book Creation Day. And you get almost a third of your book written in one day. So really a magical experience. So we'll see you next time. Keep writing, everyone. Join us at eliteonlinepublishing.com for more information. You can all go to the author submission if you'd like more info from us or set up an appointment. We'll see you next time. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.